public been,
Here you go.
All right then. So we are starting the meeting. Today's Tuesday,
Today's Thursday.
Thursday,
Thursday, April 14th.
Thursday, April 14. I got all mixed up. So this is a special meeting to go over the boundary and the precinct and the changes is made. But we will not be able to decide and vote on it because it's still work need to be done. And Chris and Janet will explain what's going on. What is it? Do we have any public?
No one contacted me in advance.
All
Let
right.
me make sure here that I have.
Okay, then.
do we have, are there members of the public who are in attendance?
No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there are. Yes. Oh, I see. Okay.
They're considered attendees.
Right. Okay. Now,
Oh,
now,
Janet's also an attendee. Janet should be a panelist.
All right, let's start the meeting. Where's Janet? Where's Chris?
Janet and Chris will be, why don't you go ahead and grab them?
We're waiting for them
They both
to,
stepped out of the room briefly.
and the training will be Monday, 11 o'clock. Thanks to Kevin, it's only 1 hour training, not 3 hours.
so, so can I ask a question about the meeting schedule? That was, because I just got a chance to read those emails just now. So is the idea that we won't be ready to have a meeting on Monday afternoon? Because we have our regular board meeting on Monday. It's been, it's been scheduled for some time.
We can do the Monday meeting if we want to, but since we have to have a meeting to go finalize all these changes that's going on, I said, I'm asking you guys if you wanted, we can change the 18 to 25, just have one meeting which cover everything and sign.
But then what is on there was some mention of the 20th.
So that's that Wednesday, April 20th, meeting to further discuss other
First-
maps when they're.
First, we do, if we change the meeting of the 18th, the 20th, we will have a special meeting to go through the final changes. And then the 25th, we approve them, assign them and go.
All right, what is the deadline for the final changes?
Janet,
We have,
Chris?
I'm coming. We have to have everything in MD voters by May 3rd. So we need time to do the changes. once
Okay,
you all approve them.
because that Wednesday afternoon that you're talking about is like potentially one of the worst days you could pick for me. So if it is possible to have that meeting on a different day, say, I don't know, almost any other day, that would be far better. But I also don't know what the staff's schedule is in terms of when they're going to be ready. And of course, I've been holding the afternoon of Monday, of the 18th for months.
But
we can't-
Louise cannot get it done that fast. She would have to be here all weekend. And it's
Easter.
Easter weekend.
And it's Easter weekend, guys.
No. Understood. I'm not suggesting that she spend the weekend. I'm just suggesting that the 20th is a difficult day. And you say it's due May the 3rd. So I guess what's the purpose? The purpose of the meeting on the 20th is in order to have time to be ready for a meeting on the 25th. Is that what you're saying?
We're only going over some of the new maps today. She hasn't had time to create them all. We've been under a real tight time.
Sure.
No, understood.
Okay,
Understood.
so we're gonna go over what she has created today,
Which is through,
through 1s, 2s, and part of the 5s. And then we're gonna do the rest on that Wednesday. If we have to that Wednesday or,
Well, let me ask this. How do people feel about that Friday,
Friday when?
the 22nd?
Well, it would certainly be better for me.
It would
I-
also be better for me.
I'll be unavailable Wednesday.
Okay with me.
Okay, listen, I need everybody's schedule. One person or two person cannot make this decision. I go through that. Alan, what day? I'm just starting from my TV Monday,
If we move from the 20th, the 22nd is good for me.
22nd.
morning or afternoon.
Uh,
Is there a
like
preference?
Afternoon?
Afternoon, I prefer.
Okay. Diane? Oh, you have.
Talking about Friday,
Yes,
22nd.
afternoon. Yes, that would be,
David,
I'm fine with any time on that Friday if it works for at least two.
so hold on. Alice can talk for herself. Alice,
Friday afternoon is fine with me, but I would have a problem making a meeting on Monday, the 25th.
Well, let's do one meeting at a time.
Ami,
I'm fine on Friday afternoon, the 22nd.
okay. Therefore, it's fine with everybody, the 22nd. What time? 2:30, 2 o'clock? The sooner the better.
2?
1 o'clock?
that's
1:30?
2 or later.
Let's do 2:30. That's our normal meeting time,
Not really. This is a special meeting.
sort of.
No, I think that's an accurate statement to say that it's our normal meeting time.
God bless.
But this is a special meeting. We can have the time mutual agreement with everybody. So
What time do you want it to be, Nahid? You're the president.
I want it to be 1:30 because I have something to do in that day. It's an important meeting I have to attend.
Okay, then
And those of you which don't want to see me, that's fine. Okay.
I think 1:30 is fine.
Okay, 1:30.
Does 1:30 work for everyone?
Friday, 15th at
I can make that work.
22nd.
Sorry, April.
1:30.
But are we talking about which date?
The 22nd.
The
Okay,
22nd,
thank you. At
Is the-
1:30?
Which is a Friday.
right.
On 1:30, that special meeting.
Got it.
Board, this is Lisa. Just want to clarify. So we're not going to have the April 18th meeting.
No, we didn't say that yet. I don't
Okay,
think.
that's what I'm trying to clarify. So we're going to have a special meeting on April 22nd at 1:30.
I think what we said is we're not going to have the April 20th meeting. I don't think we've said yet about the
Yeah.
April 18th
Right.
meeting.
Right, that, and that's,
Forget
I'm just trying
about-
to clarify. Mhm.
Forget about we're gonna have a special meeting on Friday, the 22nd at 1:30.
Right.
All right. All right then. Everybody agree? Alice, I heard that you said one. Okay. All right then. Now, moving the regular board meeting from 18 to 25th. And Janet already explained.
I'm,
2:30 regular meeting.
No, I'm sorry. What's the purpose of moving the regular meeting from the 18th to the 25th?
Janet,
We need to vote on the 25th.
we need to vote on the 25th.
But
So-
the vote is going to take about a minute, right? Because we're going to do all the discussion on that previous Friday,
Right.
right? But our regular meeting might take more than a minute, not to mention that it's been on the calendar for months. It's our regular meeting time. And just to make things more interesting, I have a medical appointment on the afternoon of the 25th that I would have to move in order to meet on the 25th.
Okay, then, we will have it on regular meeting on April the 18th, 2:30, that's it. And then the 25th, we will have a special meeting to approve the changes, that's it.
We
Any more-
need that many meetings, guys?
Yes. We have our regular board meeting, we have to have a meeting on the 25th to approve the map, everything, whatever Janet said, okay? And if one person cannot make it, that's fine.
Okay, but just to be clear, the meeting on the 25th is to approve what will already have been discussed on the 22nd.
Yes,
So in other words, our meeting on the 25th could be late in the day on the 25th and not necessarily, I mean, whatever time works for people, but not necessarily for very long.
no,
Because
it's not gonna be long, just because we already gonna discuss it on 22nd. We just have to give them time to put it in order, and the 25th, we will just approve them.
all right, Elise, is there any time on the 25th that works for you?
Yeah, I could do anytime after 4 o'clock on the 25th.
25th.
Right, and that would,
Hold on,
that-
David, hold on,
okay.
David. I'm talking.
go ahead.
Alan, what time is good for you on the 25th?
Anytime in the afternoon is fine with me.
4 o'clock, 4 PM. All right, Diane,
Okay, what day of the week is that?
It's a
Monday.
Monday,
Monday.
all day Monday, yes.
Okay, I think Elise said she's only available after 4:30. And Ellen, what did you say?
Anytime in the afternoon is okay for me.
Okay, yeah, I guess I can be anytime in the afternoon.
4 o'clock.
4:30 would be better, actually.
Alan, 4:30?
4:30 is good with me.
Diane, 4:30?
Yes.
Okay, David,
I can be there at 4:30.
you don't have doctor appointment, right?
Nope, I have a doctor's appointment earlier in the day and I can be there at 4:30.
Okay, all right then. Kevin, since
Uh,
we need you to be there,
I will make myself available at 4:30.
4:30. Okay then, 4:30, April 25th, to sign the whatever we are talking.
Did we check with Ami?
Oh, Ami,
No, no,
okay,
you didn't.
I don't see the face, right? All right,
Yeah.
Ami,
Yeah, no, you didn't check with me, but that's okay with me.
because I'm looking at the picture of everybody, I just didn't see you. Okay,
You don't get to see me today.
all right. Is it good Thursday? Is it good the 25th, Monday, 4:30?
Yes.
Okay, yes, all right then, everybody is okay. So
So
where
just
are
a
we
quick little review here. We have on April 18th at 2:30, our regularly scheduled board meeting. On April 22nd at 1:30, a special board meeting. And on April 25th at 4:30, a special board meeting.
Cor- Yes, and we also have the training on April 18th at 11.
Well,
Yeah,
that's different from the board meetings and public meeting.
Okay.
Okay, 11 o'clock for 1 hour on the 18th.
And the
Good,
training,
everybody?
and the training is an executive session.
Yes,
Correct,
right, Kevin?
correct. It's not, it's an executive function.
Okay. All right, then Lisa is making the note. All right, she will email all of us. Just remind us, okay? It's fine? Everybody?
Fine.
Now we go to the meeting of today. Janet and Chris will explain what's going on. And understand we don't have any, we
You ask an addition to the agenda,
don't
Ms.
do the
Kozame?
session today.
but we need to do this.
The voting side, we're gonna have
So staff is asking for an addition to the agenda.
that early voting site possible changes. This is beyond what you're talking, okay? You're gonna add that subject to early voting site possible changes. That's addition to the agenda, fine? All
So
right,
Christine Zizit, Operations Manager.
yes, Chris, go ahead.
Thank you, Ms. Cosme. Hello. What we'd like to discuss today is we have a firm date of the 19th for the election, and the impact that will take place at early voting seems to center around Silver Spring Civic. We are able to have Sandy Spring the week. We were just happened to be very lucky that the week was open for early voting prior to the July 19th election day. So we're all right at Sandy Spring. And then the third conflict that we have is at Activity Center at Borough Park. The city is involved in many activities and camps during the middle of summer. They have not committed to us yet that they would be able to move camps. If they are able to move camps, there will be an expense to it. I believe we might be asked to pay for the venue of where they position these camps. But the suggestion is from the staff that we consider going to Gaithersburg High School rather than using the activity center at Borough Park. There are some other drawbacks to Borough Park. It will be the middle of the summer. And the pool is attached to the back of the activity center. So the 2 parking lots are used for swimmers and activities at the pool. So not only will we have our voters trying to park, but there will be many people using the swimming pool at the activity center. I believe that we can propose to the school system the use of the high school, Gaithersburg High School. And that is our proposal.
This is not a, we have not given any public notice of this. This is not something that we're asking for the board to make a decision on today, but it is something that we're briefing you on. That these are the, this is what we're working on. And I believe what we would like would be any initial sort of thoughts, feedback, discussion that you'd like to have in advance of us then bringing this to you as a business item.
This is for information purpose only. Yes, David.
Thank you. A couple of questions. Is there summer school at Gaithersburg High School in July? Early voting is July 7th to the 14th, I believe.
Yeah, correct.
Is there summer school there?
I have not pursued that, but I honestly think that we could cohabitate, because I'm suggesting that we use the gymnasium, and I believe MCPS will be able to work with us.
Well,
But we have to discuss this with the school system.
okay. By when do we have to make a decision?
We should have information by next Tuesday, correct, Janet?
State board wants to bring this up on their board meeting on the 27th, so they want to answer from us next week.
They would like an answer. I don't know if you heard Ms. Ross, but the state board would like an answer next week in order to propose to their state board on the 27th. One thing that I didn't mention that you should be aware of, because of all the conflicts and different events being held in the Great Hall and the lower level of Silver Spring Civic, we're proposing that we take over the upper level for early voting at the Silver Spring Civic Center.
How many people can they have? How large is it?
There are 2 small rooms. We'll need to use both of the rooms, and we will need to use the corridors as well. But
So
we
is it,
ask for the entire upper floor.
is that going to be substantially smaller than what we normally have at Silver Spring?
Yes, it will be. One room is about 1,200 square feet along with the corridor, and not including the corridor. And then the other room is about 670 in square feet. So we're going to.
I'm sorry, what's the square footage again?
The second room, the smaller meeting room, is about 670 square feet. The larger of the 2 is about 1,200. So we're looking at about 1,800 square feet, and then we will check in and set up check-in in the corridor.
And what do we normally have in the Great Hall at Silver Spring Civic? How large is the square footage there?
About 4,000.
Wow.
Right.
I just got back, actually, I was at the Silver Spring Civic Building this morning for a meeting. Can you hear me okay? The microphone is across the room.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got back. I took a tour of the Silver Spring Civic Building this morning and looking at options. And in fact, they even showed me, they showed me the space where they do the check-in for like the ice skates and the, all of the sort of options that we can come up with in the plaza in Silver Spring. I think we still have some staff work to work through in terms of what the options are. You may remember that we actually had a gubernatorial primary. I think it was 2014. We had the gubernatorial primary where we used the 2 rooms, the Benton and the Spring room on the main level.
Yeah, I remember it not fondly.
Right. There's kind of an art gallery space next to that. And then there are these spaces that Chris is talking about upstairs. Our problem is that we have multiple conflicts in the Great Hall over the course of early voting. And so to whatever extent that is an attempt to kind of go back and forth between rooms, or that we are able to successfully lock down our operations into one creative use of alternate rooms in that building. That's what we're working through now. So yes, none of these rooms are large enough for us, but taken together with some creative use of corridor space and closet space, that's what we're trying to nail down now.
How many elevators are there and where are they located compared to where the voting would be?
There are two elevators, and if you recall, as you go in what I consider the main entrance, the plaza entrance,
Right?
there's this corridor that goes straight back and you can see glass doors on the other end of the corridor. As you're facing to the back through that corridor, there are two elevators in that corner where the glass doors are in the back, on the right-hand side.
I never want to recommend the use of an upstairs space, but we have a problem at Silver Spring that we need to figure out a way to resolve.
So I know that others have things to say, so let me just propose a couple of things. First off, I would suggest that we put the word on our website tomorrow, if not today, that we are considering this because of these reasons and that we will be willing to accept comment on it at our meeting on Monday. And I'm glad that we decided to continue with our meeting on Monday, because if we're talking about going to smaller space and we're talking about moving Gaithersburg and from its location where it's been for a long time. Admittedly, the high school is right next door, and that's better than if we were moving down the street, but it's still a difference from what it's been before. And in Silver Spring Civic Building, it's usually our most popular early voting location, one of the most popular in the state. And not to mention that there are a lot of candidates who don't live very far from there who we're going to hear from as well. So I would like to suggest that we make sure that the public knows about it as soon as possible. I also would appreciate the opportunity to see the space. I don't know if other board members want to do that, but I certainly want to see the space myself. So to the extent that I mean, I can just go there and walk around, but to the extent that somebody can help me figure out what it is I'm looking at, and if others want to do the same thing, I'd like to see the space and see what we're dealing with.
Okay, Alan?
Thank you.
I didn't catch what the conflicts were in the Great Hall.
There are multiple events, Mr. Banoff, weddings, birthday parties. There's but there's an organization that's coming in that's holding a conference type meeting. There's just multiple types of events going on. Some of them are taking up the whole floor during the event.
And Alan, I changed it.
Well, is it possible to use part of the Great Hall?
No.
No, these events have leased the entire Great Hall. And as I said, some of the events have leased the entire floor.
Diane?
Yes, I can appreciate the difficulty we're in and that we're going to have to move down to a smaller space. So my obviously objective is to see this work out. So I have a question about the configuration. Christine, you had mentioned that, or maybe Allison had mentioned, no one of the rooms is big enough, but there are multiple rooms and we can be creative with the hallways. Will we be able to ensure that getting the voter card, getting the ballot, voting, and then putting it in, and then dropping it in to be processed, to be counted, will that all be in one secure area? In other words, can we make sure that we don't have people walking from place to place with these different items? Is it big enough to contain that one process? in one area.
That's what we need to map out. Obviously, that is our objective. That's necessary for us to maintain the security of the process. But it does require some creativity to pull that off.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other question? No? All right then. Janet?
And I have no objection to a delegation from the board going
Oh,
and
yeah.
checking out the space and arranging that. We obviously just need to make sure that we do that in a way where we don't
Right.
have a quorum problem.
The problem
So-
is that, how many people wanted to go see because the timing, so they have to. Whenever they, David, yes,
No, I'm just saying, you asked how many people want to see it. I want to see it.
at time, day and time. But yeah, because they have to.
I think it would be better to do that offline. You know, because we're talking about literally every possible moment between now and Monday, right? I mean, I can, you know, I can go after this meeting if, you know, if that's possible, but depending on when we finish.
Allison?
Want to go on their own?
Yeah, if you can go your own, you just go there and.
Well, but
check.
I have to know what I'm looking at. I have to know which rooms we're talking about.
I guess it's more a matter of, do you want to sort of appoint a small group, or
Yeah,
is it just
yeah.
David? Or are
Besides
there
David,
others?
who else wanted to go?
Alan,
Alan,
Elise.
Alice, who else?
And this has to happen before Monday?
Well, yeah, we're gonna get public comment on Monday. So
Okay.
I would like to see it before Monday. Now, if it's Alan and Elise and me, we are not a quorum. So you don't have any worries about a quorum. But it's up to you all. But yeah, we have to see what you're talking about. Absolutely.
Allison,
Diane?
And if, it will depend upon the time,
Me?
but I'd be a possible.
I honestly don't have time to do that. I'm totally wrapped up in trying to get equipment over to Ukraine.
Thank you for doing that.
good
Thank
for
you for doing that, Ami.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Miss President, may I make a comment? I was just told that, and I don't know if this is helpful, but just so you are aware, there is a virtual tour of the Silver Spring Civic Center on their site, on their website. Is that correct,
Oh.
Chris? So just so you are aware of the virtual tour there.
You can go to the Silver Spring Civic and the selection is virtual tour. And you can see the square footage marked on boards and all of the rooms in the building. are on
Yes,
that
but
virtual
we need to know which rooms you're talking about using for which purposes.
Sure, we were just making a note that that was something that was available to the board. and-
Okay, well, thank you. I would still like to go in person, and I would like to have at least some idea of what the proposal is for, at least the initial proposal for what you're gonna do where. And I definitely want to see where the rooms are in relation to the elevators, because,
the other room.
you know, so,
Coordinate having a small group go over tomorrow afternoon. We'll just need to identify who it is and make sure we don't have a quorum problem.
So Allison, why don't we do this? Make life real simple here. Why don't you provide the contact information for the person at Silver Spring and identify the rooms, and then if individuals cannot make it when everyone else is going to go over, they can just pick up the phone and call and ask to go ahead and be shown what rooms are going to be used.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Sounds very reasonable.
Yes.
offline in terms of the
Yes.
contact information, yes,
Right.
Correct.
yes.
Thank you.
I should say off this meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ken. And yes, Alan. Yes,
I'm,
sir.
I'm looking at the tour right now, and it doesn't give you dimensions. Is it possible to lay out, Allison, some what it might look like before Monday?
How
How we're gonna set it up?
Mhm.
Yeah,
No, it's not possible because it's Louise and she's got to work on these maps.
okay, just asking.
Thank you, Alan. All right then.
But let me ask a question then. How are we going, I mean, Is there any choice involved here? How are we going to decide if this is an acceptable alternative for early voting by next week if we aren't going to know how the room's going to be laid out?
Janet?
We never do the layout before we choose the room anyway. We
Yeah.
just- the
Yeah,
space.
but yes, but we've used the same large 4,000 square foot room for every election but one, and that one was a, not a happy experience. That's me being nice. So,
Downstairs in those rooms though, these are upstairs.
This is a bit of an extraordinary situation, and as I was saying earlier, it requires some creative use of the space, and so I can happily try to, and I appreciate Kevin's suggestion that we figure out how to coordinate who's available when. I personally would like to work with the staff there to have whoever's going from the board and me be there together so we can look at the space together. But I can go ahead and take that into an email communication about who's going, and because I think when you see the spaces and the options, then yes, there's a flow of where people would need to check in and then where the voting booth would be. And that's all part of the discussion about the use of the space. So
Allison, when you say the space, you're talking about the entire top floor of the Civic Center, correct?
potentially,
The top floor, Kevin, also has the administrative offices on about a quarter of the top floor. But when I have spoken to the staff at Silver Spring Civic, we have referenced that we would be using the entire upper floor other than the administrative area.
Okay, so it's the entire top floor other than the administrative suite.
Correct.
Okay, well, the board can picture what that looks like.
And that sounds like you'll be able to limit traffic to voters and administrative staff, correct? Or-
well,
Yeah.
let's back up a second, because the administrative staff of the civic building are no different than members of the public as far as voting is concerned. I mean, we have to keep them separate from the voting.
Right, but
Um,
I'm just saying, if they've obviously got, I would think, identification, and they are a limited group.
Correct. There are not very many people or staff at the Silver Spring Civic Building, and their area is totally enclosed and separate from the area that we would be using.
Well, I would just say, Diane and I are approaching this from very different perspectives. She's worried about limiting access, and I'm worried about having access.
Oh.
Because
Okay.
because my concern is that people are used to coming to that building and having first of all, they're used to having a very large area. There's usually a huge number of check-ins in Silver Spring. There's usually a very large space. And now we're telling them not only that, we're telling them that they have to go upstairs or an elevator in order to get where they're going, and be in a, I can tell you, I've been to the Civic Building many, many times. I'm not sure I've ever been on the second floor. And so, so I'm just saying that I think that there are a lot of things we need to do in order to prepare the public for this and to see whether it's an acceptable alternative as far as the board is concerned.
I will coordinate that visit for tomorrow.
Okay, then, Alison, you send a text to them,
Yeah.
email to them. Alison will send you an email to coordinate the visit tomorrow afternoon, right, Alison? Okay? Hello? Yes, Alice.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I didn't have a question.
You don't ask for it. All right then. So, Alison will email you, huh? Okay, then, what is the next?
We have redistricting.
Redistricting. Where is Janet?
Well,
Go ahead.
we would like to start redistricting in a moment, but we have a somewhat of a technical issue. So it'll be a minute or two until we are able to display the maps.
They're working on it right now. Janet is just came from
I'm
that
sharing the
room.
map.
Yes,
I'm
Janet,
sharing the map.
redistricting.
I think
Yeah.
so. Can everyone confirm if they could see the map?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. It's more straight than before. We don't have a corner somewhere.
Okay, Chris.
Just go up a little bit. 105.
Okay, give us 1 second. You gotta play musical chairs in this room.
If you have any difficulty hearing Janet or Chris, say so. But we'll project.
They're gonna share with them.
Want me to start this?
Yes,
please.
go ahead.
Okay, so the first precinct that is still changing with the new congressional lines is 0105. If I can make this,
105.
yes.
Same polling places before?
Yes, but it's a little change because 0101 is being cut up by the old congressional lines. And so was another precinct, and we were moving it into this top portion. Now we only have to deal with the legislative on this blue line coming through 0105. So we're gonna split this precinct in half. That's what it looks like now. And
I'm sorry, I can't see what it looks like now. I'm seeing a line right now, but I can't see what the precinct looks like now.
hold on. Gotta change, wait a minute, let me make it a little smaller. I'm not used to this. Okay,
Can you see David now?
Well, now I see two different maps because I see that where it says new precinct boundary in the middle.
yeah. mouse is on.
All
Okay,
right. Okay, so what you're saying is that the blue line is dividing what used to be, the red line is what the precinct used to be,
yes,
and the
Yeah.
blue line is dividing it in two.
yes, and it was similar to the change before, except for the congressional line also went through 0101, but now it just goes down the side of 01, the old 0105.
And where are the polling places for these two halves?
Oh, wait, I'm gonna get back up.
Okay,
So this is what's remaining of the existing 0105. And they vote at the Agricultural History Farm Park, and they will continue to vote there. Okay, so I'm gonna switch over to 0108, which will be the top portion of this precinct. And it's still gonna vote at the same spot. Well, just because it's only 800 voters, we're going to consolidate them into their old precinct location.
Any question?
Question on that one?
No?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
Same.
moving on. Okay. That's why. 0101 and 0107. We are making this change to try to clean up the break in 0101. This is what it looks like now. This is 0101, these two portions, and this is 0107 over here. I can scroll down a little bit, you can see the whole 0107.
When you were originally shown this a couple weeks ago, we said that we had resolved that, but because of the congressional lines changing, we still have
Yeah.
a line issue up there.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and on the top is, we're gonna combine that section that's by itself from 0101 into 0107. And they vote at the Damascus Library now, which is over where my, yeah, it finally works. My cursor is over here. Switching on its own.
can you go back to the picture you just showed us?
This one?
Yes.
Mhm.
So where does 0101 vote?
Right, 0107 votes
No,
here.
I understand, but you were saying that 0101, the portion of 0101 that you're adding to 0107, They used
voted
to,
down
they used to vote in 0101, right?
Laytonsville Elementary School down this way somewhere. It's down
Okay.
south.
So the rest of 0101 would continue to vote there, and the portion that is up top would be added to 0107 and vote at Damascus Library.
And we're proposing, because we increased the precinct size from 462 voters to 664, the Damascus Library, it's a very tiny room. So the building is also located with the Damascus Senior Center, and they have a social hall and other rooms. So we are going to ask the director of rec, can we use another room? It's the same building, just a different room in the building. To get a larger room.
So instead of on the list, you won't see Damascus Library, you will see Damascus Senior Center, but it's the same location, just a different room, and it's identified as a senior center.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
0206, this was one of the old changes.
Okay.
I gotta get used to this.
I can help you if I got my mouse.
This is her mouse.
There is
I mean, mouse pad.
There
That
is
might help.
0206.
Okay, 0206. This was also one of the previous splits, but the congressional line also, it didn't go down the side of 0206 like it is now. It went through portion of 0206. And we were going to put that portion in 211. So now we don't have to do that. This is wrong. So 0206 is going to still be split in half by legislative. And that's the most populated portion of 0206. So they will go to Hallie Wells Middle School.
No possible polling place within the precinct.
It is, but it's Snowden Elementary School and it cannot hold those voters.
How many people in 206B?
3,754.
Wow.
And then the other part of 26, I'm sorry, where are they?
They're going to Snowden Farm Elementary School, which it's a couple of slides down.
Okay,
And they only have 1,800 in it. Okay. This one, we were originally splitting this. Remember this little section here? It was cut off and it was going to go to 210, but now the line changed, so we can split 28 like in half. And what we're going to do is combine 207, 208, 209, and 210. All three of those precincts into 0207. And they're going to stay at John T. Baker.
Yes. And
It's a middle school, and if it was combining those precincts, we're still only up to 1,477 voters.
where is the polling place?
it is to the east.
Can we see a picture that shows us how close it is to the precinct?
Let me see if I can pull the old one up. John T. Baker's over here. Can you all see the new map that I just pulled up?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, so
What I can't tell is how close those things are, because we're kind of
no,
further
so
zoomed out.
would end right here.
Right, so how far is it from,
It's right here. And this is the boundary of the new 207 right here.
no, I get it, like, but if you, I don't know the area very well at all, but if you are on Burnt Hill Road, how long does it take you to get to Baker Middle School?
Mr. Naaman, we would need to map that out and give you that information later.
Where do they vote now?
That's where they vote. That's
That's,
where they've always voted.
that's where this
Oh.
group of people has voted.
Oh, okay.
And might interest you to know, Janet explained that we were combining about 3 or 4 precincts together and creating 207. Those numbers will be what we call retired. Those precinct numbers won't appear anywhere on our list. The precincts that we've retired into 207, or we've merged into 207.
How many voters?
Total,
Total 1,477.
I'm sorry, how many thousand?
1,477.
Okay, thank you.
Go next.
Okay, so well, this is the other part of 208. This is 208B right here where this line goes. And so this, oh, that's the wrong one. This is 208B. And you can see that the legislative map, the congressional line is the correct line. This legislative line is not there anymore. No, the congressional line is not there anymore. The legislative line is correct. So this portion of 208B has 4,997 voters in it. It's a lot. And they vote at Clarksburg High School, which is right here.
Right. Question? Go next.
Okay. 212 is the other portion of 0206 that's going to vote at Snowden Farm Elementary School. That's the old portion of Haley Wells that's now being made a new precinct of 212, and it's 1,814 voters. That's why we left this portion at the middle school and put this portion down in.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time when you say this portion. I'm watching your cursor, but I can't quite figure out where you're pointing.
Right here.
the yellow
Okay.
portion, the shaded yellow portion, that population will be voting at Snowden, and Janet had Snowden starred there.
Right, but the portion where the cursor is now, where Snowden is, where are those people voting?
I'm
That-
going up. to
At
the-
Haley Wells.
This one, this is Haley Wells, where you asked me, was there anything inside here? And I said Snowden, but it will not hold.
Okay, so help us out with Snowden is,
Inside this precinct,
right, but that precinct has, you said 3,000 something, I think.
37.
Okay, so that's why you're using the middle school.
right?
And then the precinct for Snowden, how many voters?
1,814,
So half of it.
yeah. And we cannot get the 3,000 voters into the elementary school.
Right.
Or we would have switched it. We preferred to switch it too, but we couldn't.
We were hopeful, but the numbers just didn't work. We would prefer to have the middle school house or host the larger number of voters.
Okay, moving on to 407. This was a change that we wanted to do to add in 437 into this precinct. But when we looked at the numbers, and I think because one of the congressional lines changed, we realized we could also add 440 and get rid of this little tiny and put it all into 407
The little tiny being 437.
and 440. 437 has 343 voters. That was the original change we showed you all earlier.
Mhm.
Now we modified this change a little bit, and we're going to add 440 into it also.
Yeah.
Which
And
is
that's with 47
yes, and we go
and
to
all of them voting at Twin Brook Elementary.
right.
And these people that were divided out at one point during redistricting all were accustomed to voting at Twin Brook Elementary, but with the way the legislative lines carved out those pie shapes, those wedges in 2010,
Right.
divided them out into different districts. But typically they're used to voting at Twin Brook Elementary.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now we're going to. This is not the right map. Okay.
Yeah, I was
Ignore,
gonna say, that's the old map.
yeah, this is not the right map on the bottom. Ignore the congressional lines. Nothing is cutting up any of these precincts down here. But we wanted to clean up these lines because now we have a chance to clean up these lines. There were crazy cuts, like they have 505 crossing this major intersection, and it's a few voters right in here that are part of 505. And like this portion of 506 was crossing New Hampshire to come vote, portion of 505 was crossing New Hampshire to go vote at 506. So we want to clean this up. And this is our proposal, to cut 505 at the highway, bring that portion of 506 so they don't have to cross New Hampshire over into 505. It's a portion of, if I go back down here, 505 that goes into 510 that crosses another major street. So we wanted to bring that back into 505, but this was all done because of how the lines were drawn 10 years ago.
So now you don't have
Yeah.
precincts that are crossing Route 29, for example.
Correct.
Then
And it looks like you don't have precincts that are crossing New Hampshire Avenue either.
Right.
And so we want to take the voters that were in 505 that ran along this border of this and move them into 513. And this 524 will become a ghost because it's basically the FDA campus and there's no voters there. If ever voters come there for some reason, we'll make it a live precinct, but right now it'll be a ghost
And
because there's nobody there.
a ghost is just merely a holding place. And as Janet said, if something should develop, we can create it into a live precinct.
So does that mean, is the polling place for 513, is that the White Oak Rec Center?
Yes. it is not.
And this is close to what it was before, because I remember that with the old congressional lines that we were, or is it, I'm sorry, those are the old congressional lines.
At the bottom, they are the ones we presented last time, but these don't exist. These are the correct ones up here.
Okay, so is that where, I know that there's a portion of the 4th Congressional District that comes into Montgomery County around Burtonsville. Is that the line on this map, or is that the old line? When I say the old line, I'm talking about from a couple weeks ago. I'm not talking about from 10
Yeah.
years ago.
I know, this one,
Yeah.
I think this is the boundary of 4 right here. Yeah, it is, because
it is.
512, the boundary of 4 cuts a portion of 512 and Riderwood off a little bit.
Do
And
you,
we don't have those maps yet.
okay, because I thought that the only part of the, I thought that Burtonsville was pretty much it for the 4th Congressional District.
It's
Under
512,
under the new congressional map.
no, it's 512, which is Galway, 504, I actually have to read it off my paper. 504, which is Riderwood, 512 is Galway.
502.
No, 502 is not affected.
So you're saying Riderwood is now in the 4th?
Portion of it is. They cut a small portion of the top of the Riderwood precinct off.
Are we talking about, I mean, Riderwood is both in Prince George's and Montgomery. You're
It's
saying that,
both.
you're saying that a portion of the Montgomery side of Riderwood is in the 4th?
Yes, but the precinct, not the building, the precinct. It only cut a portion of the top of the precinct. I think this is 504 right here. It cut like this portion right here off.
When we say Riderwood is the polling place there, but the precinct involves more voters than just the campus of Riderwood.
Oh, I didn't realize that. So
Yeah.
do
So
people,
the
So people have to come on to Riderwood campus in order to vote?
Yeah.
Correct.
Wow.
I think
I didn't-
Leap World is the only one that's self-contained.
Right. As Janet said, Leisure World
Right.
is the only one where we have 3 self-contained precincts
Okay.
on campus.
All right. Well, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves because I gather Riderwood is not one of the precincts that you have on this map. You have
No, we
Five-
haven't done that
you
one
have
yet.
5 precincts on this map. Can you point out for us what all the polling places are for each one?
Springbrook is 505, that one. White Oak is, middle school is this one.
For 5, 6.
And
Uh-huh.
513 is White Oak Rec Center, which is not on the map. 510 is Crest Haven Elementary School. They vote here. And 524 won't have a precinct.
Right, because it's on, that's the FDA campus.
Okay.
Okay,
506 votes at White Oak Middle School?
yes, right here.
Okay.
And 505 votes at Springbrook, which is just outside the precinct. Off those, and then that was our attempt to clean up the lines over in that area. Okay, we also attempted to clean up some lines in Olney. This one's gonna be hard to,
It's a large
because it's
area.
a large area. Okay, so. Find it. It's taking me a long time to move it because this is a huge map and the computers keep trying to catch up.
Yeah.
I think we can attempt this one, but I don't know if it's too hard to see. I'm trying to get there. Computers take forever. She didn't put the lines in. You know, we're gonna have to do this on another time, though. We can't even see the lines. Because the map is so big. We're gonna have to do this one at the next meeting.
Which one is this one?
It's all of District 8. It's like 6 or 7 precincts where we try to clean up the lines and move it so that the people are voting in precinct, because most of District 8 was voting out of precinct. So we try to clean it up.
And when you say District 8, you mean election District 8?
Yes,
Okay.
All right then.
that's it. That's all we have for today, but I do have a question. When we do the meeting on, when is the meeting? The 22nd.
22nd, 1:30, yeah.
Do you all want us to go over the old ones that aren't changing, just to refresh your memory? Like do the new ones and then go back over the old ones, not these we just presented today. but the old ones from the previous meetings that are not changing.
Like to see it again?
Board have issues?
I believe we had some follow-up questions about some of them.
Right, but all of those, you have follow-up questions, the congressional lines got rid of them, except for the one that, no, the District 18 change where they wanted us to divide 0404, 0408 and make a new precinct.
Yeah, and I think I saw that the governor signed legislation to change the school board district in Kensington as well.
Right, and that one, the map is okay, we just need to fix it in our records.
I personally would like to have the refresher as to what we did before, because I feel like these maps are like shuffled and reshuffled, given all the different,
Okay,
things that have happened.
Okay, David, we will do it. So they will go through the old one, just refresh our memory, okay?
If you all could give us until like Monday or Tuesday to get the maps and stuff up on what we have up on the website.
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed a little bit right now.
Okay, and you don't have anything else to
That
add
was it.
until the 22nd, right?
Until the 22nd.
Any other question? We almost finished
For
for
today.
today, yeah.
But I do believe all the question maps were eliminated with the change of the congressional lines.
I think that would be helpful to know, to help us kind of remember what's what. If even if it's just like a list of the things that we discussed that we no longer have to worry about.
Brief summary.
So you want us to summarize that at the 25th meeting or send it out to you? How do you want us to do it?
I think sending it out is probably okay. I don't know I don't know if other people have the same concern that I do. I'm just trying to keep it all straight. We had a lot of members of the public who observed, and also I don't want them to be confused either. But
How about this, Janet? What I'd like to propose is that Tuesday, you think we can have a complete
On the
map
website,
on the website by
What we've
Tuesday?
done.
right, not
I'm not
It
complete.
won't be complete.
I'm not gonna promise Louisa have them all done, but the old changes that are stand, we can put those up. We can see a few corrections we need to do here before we put them.
Okay.
So then by the time the board meets on the 25th,
She should have them all done. She will have them all done.
we'll have had everything up on our website by
22nd.
Us that Thursday.
the 21st. Okay, so we will do.
Yeah, because she'll have all week to work on it.
25th.
As tomorrow and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
So I'm working backwards from what we've said as the last meeting, what we've said as the 25th as the day for the board to take the final vote.
Okay.
With meetings on the 18th and the 22nd. And we're not gonna have everything up certainly before the meeting on the 18th. We're not gonna have everything up. Do you think we can have everything up we will have everything up in time for the meeting on the 22nd?
Yes.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
have to.
Because we're gonna-
We have to have it up, especially if they're voting on that Monday, the public needs
The
to,
25th.
we need a notice and everything up on that.
So our public notice is gonna be really working backwards from the date of the 25th in order to have completeness. I can't promise that we'll get everything that we can up along with summary information as soon as we can. But it's going to have to be a couple of updates. We're not gonna be able to have a complete update early next week.
Okay,
But the early voting information goes up right away, right?
We will, yes, we will put information up today. Can we do it today?
I'll try to get it done before.
We'll put a notice up today. We may put more information. I'm sure we will need to put more information up over time, but we will put a notice up today.
Sure. But also including that if people want to comment, that they can do so on Monday.
yeah.
Thank
I have to register.
If that's what you say, Madam President, you know, your predecessor used to allow anybody to speak who
Yeah.
asked.
But then previously, when you guys were on majority, you always have people register, which is a very good idea. We're going back to that.
Well, I don't think that if I were to speak to the past board president, that would be her view of how she handled things.
And then, okay, anyhow, they have to register on our side,
On
and
our
Lisa
website.
will
Mhm.
inform us who's going to talk. Okay, any other question? So we adjourn the meeting. Do I have a vote to adjourn the meeting? If it's no more question? Nobody want to go home?
Okay, I move we adjourn. If no more questions.
Seconded.
Alan seconded. Those in
Happy
favor?
Easter and happy Passover.
Oh,
Yes,
yes,
Happy,
Thank you.
happy High Holy Week to everybody.
yes.
all of you.
Thank
guys.
you. You too. Take
Stay
care.
safe.
Thank
See you
you. Thank you.
soon.
Okay.